Hello, welcome to your unit introduction for Unit 3 Personal Business Finance of the BTEC specification. So let's get straight into it. How the unit is assessed. So we're going to start with a summary of assessment because obviously it's important to know how you're going to be assessed on this unit. This unit is assessed by a written examination set by Pearson, and the exam will be 2 hours in length. The number of marks for the exam is 100. Section A contains questions on personal finance, which is about 1/3 of the marks, and Section B contains questions on business finance, which is 2/3 of the marks, so it's more weighted towards the business finance side of things. Personal finance will not only be useful for the unit, but for the rest of your life. So the first section, although it's weighted less, is actually, in my opinion, the most important part, because despite whether you're going to business finance or not, you're all going to have to deal with things such as mortgages, current accounts and insurance throughout the rest of your life. And hopefully this unit will give you some information on how to do that. Topic areas. So the table below shows the topic areas that you're going to be assessed upon. A and B are the personal finance topics. C, D, E and F are the business finance topics. So you've got understanding the importance of managing personal finances. So why is it important that you manage your own finance as well? And what are the consequences if you don't do that? Section B is exploring the personal finance sector. So it's looking to banks, building societies, different types of current accounts, and also places you can go for advice on your personal finances. C is understanding the purpose of accounting. So this is where you go into the business finance side of it. D is select and evaluate different sources of business finance. So where can you go for money to start up your own business? And the pros and cons of different sources of finance that are available out there. E is break even and cash flow forecasts. So we've got some videos on those. If you'd like to head over there to learn more about those. F is complete statements of comprehensive income and financial position and evaluate a business's performance. Again, we've got some videos detailing this section of the exam and everything you need to know for these. So, moving on. So I think it's important that you see a few examples of the types of questions that you're going to be assessed upon before you actually have your assessment. As you can see there, as I mentioned earlier, you're advised to spend 40 to 45 minutes on this section, Section A, which is personal finance. And then you've got two typical lower mark questions there. Again, we've got videos on these topics that will help you revise, ready for your exam. Section B is business finance, and as you can see, they advise that you spend 75 to 80 minutes on this section. And that's because obviously it's those 2/3 of the marks that are part of this section. These questions are a little bit different. You've got a little scenario there and then some questions based on this. And finally, I teach business and BTEC business, so I've got some recommendations that I recommend to my students on how they can achieve a distinction in the exam. So my first recommendation is start reading the BTEC book now. So if you're watching this video early on in September, you should be getting hold of that BTEC book, reading it daily. And I'm not saying hours on end daily, but have the book by your bed at night before you go to sleep, 15 minutes. And if you're reading 15 minutes a night, by the time you get to your exam, you'll have read the unit probably 50 to 60 times, and it'll just be in there. In your brain, and you'll be able to recall it hopefully in your exam. My next tip is complete tasks in the BTEC book outside of class. So that BTEC book is vital. There's sample questions in there that you could use. There's also key terms and just an array of like practice assessments and things like that. Also how to get ready for your exam is also in that book. So if you haven't got that book, pester your teachers, your college, your school to give you access to that, even if it's just an online version. Keep a folder of all your resources or tasks completed in class. So your teacher knows what's going to be on that exam. The class activities and resources you're getting are going to help you revise and give you better insight into what's coming on that exam. And finally, watch and re-watch the videos that we're creating for you. You can watch them as many times as you want, especially running up to your exam. You'll be able to re-watch sections that you might not recap in September and just get it into your brain again. Other than that, if you'd just like to subscribe to the channel to keep up to date with all our new videos and content. Thank you. Goodbye.